Hi, hola, my name is Rachel. I'm going to talk about the present tense and how it's used. The present tense is a tense in the Spanish language which is used when the action in your sentence is both completed and takes place in the past. For example, if you were going to say the phrase, I ate eggs during breakfast this morning, you would use the preterite tense because you completed the action of eating the eggs and you indicated that you ate during breakfast this morning, which is in the past. Another example could be, I played basketball in the park yesterday. You would use the preterite tense in this case as well because you completed the action of playing baseball, and the word yesterday indicates past.
Hi, my name is Fiona Faye, and I'll be talking about the regular endings for the preterite tense. When you're conjugating for the yo form, AR verbs just add an E with an accent to the end. For ER and IR verbs, add an I with an accent to the end. For to, when you're conjugating for to form, for AR verbs use aste, and for ER and IR verbs use iste. For singular el, ella, and usted, use for AR verbs the O with an accent, and for the ER and IR verbs use an I, and following the I with an O with an accent on the end. For nosotros, for AR verbs use amos, and for ER and IR verbs use imos. For vosotros, for AR verbs use estéis, and for ER and IR verbs use estéis. These are both the same conjugation. Finally, for plural ellos, ellas, and ustedes, for the AR verbs use aron, and for the ER and IR verbs use ieron. Those are the conjugations for regular verbs.
Hello, my name is David, and I will be explaining the irregulars in the preterite tense to you. On the left column, you see all of the verbs that change their stems in the preterite tense. So, for example, decir becomes D-I-J, and then hacer becomes hic, H-I-C. That is a complete list of all the verbs that change in that manner. And then on the upper right-hand corner of the board, you see the different changes that the verbs will take. So if you wanted to say decir in the preterite yo form, you would say dihe. And if you wanted to say hacer in the preterite tense in the yo form, you would say hise. All of those verbs follow that set of endings. Below the endings, you'll see ser and ir. Ser and ir both share the same verb spellings in the preterite tense. Fui, fuiste, foi, fuimos, fuisteis, and fueron. So you have to look at the sentence that you are dealing with to see which one to use. For ver and dar, ver is vi, viste, vio, vimos, visteis, and vieron. And dar is the exact same thing, except substitute all of the v's with d's. So dar becomes di, diste, dio, dimos, disteis, and dieron. And that is the irregulars in the preterite tense.
Now on to the cargars are irregulars. In the form of yo, if a verb ends with car, then you would change the C to QU. And an example of that would be toque. If a verb ends with gar in the yo form, you change the G to GU. And an example of that would be juegue. And if a verb ends with zar, you change the Z to C, and that would be almorce. So other examples of that.
And thank you for learning the preterite tense with Fiona, Rachel, and David.